I'm going to show you something impossible. You take a deck of cards, it can even be a borrowed deck of cards, it does not have to be special in any way, so if you're playing a card game, you just take the deck that's being used, you invite the spectator to shuffle, you set down the deck, and you ask them to cut the deck wherever they want. This is a completely free choice, so they riffle, they cut wherever, and they show their friends where they've cut to. They keep that to themselves, I'm not going to look at it, and I'm going to lose it straight into the middle of the pack, and once again the spectator can shuffle. Now, if there's any magicians watching, you're probably thinking, that is way too fair, how can you possibly know what the card is? And yet I know for certain that the card was the 3 of clubs. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video, and I want to start this video by telling you about something super exciting. As some of you might know, over the past few years, I've been running a membership for magicians over on Patreon with the sole intention of being the best value membership for magicians. That was the whole idea when I created it. At the time I'm filming, there are currently more than 60 tutorials available, a 235-page magic book, hour-long masterclasses, and if you're not a member, the link is down in the description. It's not an elite club, anyone can join of any level. Today, I am so excited to announce that over the past few weeks, I've been quietly rebranding that membership to be something much bigger than it currently is. I'm gonna put my foot down on the membership, and I'm so excited for the amount of content I'm gonna be adding there. I'm keeping the price at $5, everything is staying where it is on Patreon, but I have rebranded to the Magician Club. That is right, if you head over to themagician.club, how cool is that URL, by the way? That is the most amazing website. If you head to themagician.club, you will be taken to Patreon, where the tiers are available, and you can join. You can join right now. All of the content that is currently on the membership is staying where it is, but there's going to be so much added. Tutorials, masterclasses, lectures, books, so much material from not just myself, but a bunch of other magicians. I've got podcasts lined up, discussions with some really interesting people. I'm going to be learning just as much as you, basically, because I've got some people that are going to teach me things and teach you things that are going to blow your mind. And that's just the Jack tier for $5 a month. $5 a month. That's the price of a cup of coffee and a sandwich once a month that gets you a key to a library full of great magic. And this isn't just like a one-off project, this is something I've continually added to for years and will continue to do for years. But if you don't fancy signing up to the club itself, you can follow the Instagram account, themagician.club, which is obviously completely free. You can follow that, there's going to be loads of content, magic videos from loads of people, including myself. So if you want to follow the Instagram account, please do, themagician.club. I'm so excited about this. Yeah, it's fantastic. I can't wait. All right, but enough of that. Today, we're going to be talking about a super clever method that allows you to peek any card from any deck. The deck isn't marked, you can even borrow a deck, and with just a little bit of preparation, you are able to perform absolute miracles. Just totally fair card tricks, and the secret is so simple. It barely takes any practice. All right, welcome to the desk. Feel like a newsreader with this. Hello, welcome to the crafting table. To create the gimmick you're going to need for this trick, you are going to need this stuff. Now this is reflective material, and I've used this in the past in my illusion video. This was part of the method, and this stuff is so practical. This is a deadly weapon in my repertoire. I use this stuff all the time. As you can see, it's got bits missing because I always cut stuff off, and if you want the exact one I'm using, it's linked down in the description, but any sort of reflective material will work. If you've got craft mirror from a craft store or a little makeup mirror, then that should be good enough. And you're also going to need a playing card, a joker, or maybe a business card. I'll just use one of my business cards, and you're going to cut a square of this mirrored material. So you're just going to cut a little square like so, and the good thing about mine is it's actually adhesive backed. So what I can do is actually peel away that backing and stick it to whatever I like. So in this case, I'm going to stick it to the back of my business card, going to give it a little bit of a trim because there is a corner just sticking over. Does not need to be perfect though. You're the only person who's ever going to see this, so it really doesn't matter if it's neat or not. What I have in my hands and what we've made is called a shiner. And a shiner is a tool in magic and cheating and gambling to be able to peek at cards without the spectator realizing. And this stuff can be hidden anywhere. Sometimes a shiner will be built into a watch or a card box. It can be disguised as any object at all. And what I want you to know is, as I'm teaching this, as with any tutorial, if you have an idea of how to use a shiner, then go for it. I'm going to be teaching one version in this video, but that doesn't mean that that's the only way of doing it. I always get comments saying, oh, you could do it this way, you could do it this way. And yeah, I know, you can do it hundreds of ways, especially with something like this that is so versatile. So I encourage you to go out there and experiment and come up with your own ways of using a shiner. But I'm going to teach you a really, really basic one, which is a lap shiner. So we're not going to disguise it as an object, we're actually going to have it fully out of view in my lap. So essentially it is resting on my leg like so, which essentially allows me to peek the bottom card very, very easily. So the bottom card right here, I know is the 8 of hearts. And indeed, it is the 8 of hearts. But just simply by controlling their card to the bottom and moving the deck here, it looks like I'm looking at the top of the deck. There is no possible way I could be looking at the bottom card in their mind. That just doesn't make sense. And yet I know for certain that it's the 8 of hearts. So if we cut the deck again to a completely random place, I move the deck to the edge, I look down, I know the bottom card is the Jack of Diamonds. And it just looks like I'm looking at nothing. It's not even something they're gonna recognize as part of the method. They're not even gonna remember that I did that. It is such a small moment, and yet in my lap, I have a powerful secret. So how can we use this? How can we actually use this in performance? Because already I know that the magicians watching this are going to get very excited by the principle of having a mirror in their lap and simply knowing what the cards is. It is a age-old gambling principle, this. This has been used by card cheats and swindlers for probably centuries, although I'm not exactly sure of the history. There is a story, I believe, of a card cheat who threatened people with a knife and then had the knife on the table and said, you know, if you cheat, I'm going to stab you, basically. And then he used the knife itself, the actual shiny knife, as a shiner, which is just, it's a good story. So, we're going to use it. We have a deck shuffled, and of course we can do a really, really simple trick. First of all, you spread the cards out, you ask the spectator to pick any card. Let's say they go for this one, and again, if you want to have the card signed at this point, if that plays into the trick you're doing, then do that at this point. If you already have a way of controlling a selected card to the bottom, then I'm not going to try and change that, just use the way that you normally would. But if you don't, then there's a really, really simple way of doing it. You take the card, you put it on top, and then you go to do an overhand shuffle. But the first shuffle you do, you're going to peel off one card, and then mix the rest on top, like so. And at full speed, if I just reset with the card on top, at full speed it just looks like this. It just looks like you're shuffling the deck and the card is lost. A couple of false cuts later, and you're done. You're all set. The card is apparently lost in the middle of the deck. But of course we know it's on the bottom. So I bring the deck to the edge, I peek it, I know it's the 4 of spades. And at this point, there are so many possibilities. I am one step ahead here in a massive way. Not only is their card controlled, but I know what it is. So the possibilities are just endless. Another thing you can do is, rather than have a ribbon spread, you can have the deck just like so and invite them to cut wherever they want. So they cut a packet off, they look at that and they look at the card that they've cut to. Then you take it back, you say one last time, this is what the card was, and now what we're going to do is just lose it straight fairly in the middle of the deck. Immediately I know it was the 7 of spades, just from holding it here. So I was just holding the packet right here. I wasn't having to sort of squint and look because the mirror is just in a perfect position on my leg. So one more time, this is what that would have looked like, pretty much from my point of view. So they cut the deck wherever, they show it around, I take it back, and just by glancing, I know exactly what the card was. I know that it was the Ace of Hearts. I mean, it's as plain as day. This is something I'm going to revisit in the future, I'm almost certain of it. But there we go, that is this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to click the thumbs up button on your way out. That really helps the channel out, especially a small channel. And if you are new around here, feel free to subscribe. If you like anything to do with magic, then you might like my channel, so you can subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.